Okay, hey everyone, it's Michael Valtos from Orderflows.com, and today I'm going to post a video on the trade room from October 25th, 2016. Hopefully over the weekend I'll be able to get a chance to do the other days during the week. Again, my trading room only runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's free for users of the Orderflows software, and so if you join, you become a member, then you get free access pretty much for life on the trade room. Trade room exists for people that want to learn more about order flow, see it in real time, follow me in real time, listen to what I have to say about what's happening in the order flow. I trade mainly bonds and S&Ps, but I do look at other markets from time to time in the room. I look at bonds, euro stocks, occasionally crude, but the main markets that I trade are bonds and S&Ps. And I hate to call it a trading room. I find it more of an education room, because it's a place where you can come, and if you got questions, you could ask me. If you want me to look at a market in real time, if I have the chart, I'll pull it in. And again, it's really for people that want to learn order flow. I said, if you're looking for a trading room that I'm going to be calling out trades left and right, saying, ooh, get long, ooh, I'm out now, get short, this is not the room. I said, generally I take anywhere between 1 to 3 trades a day during those 2 hours. Sometimes I take no trades. You can only trade if the market's setting up properly. I said, it's not a trading room that I'm sitting there. The whole purpose is to call out trades left and right. No, I want you to become a trader. I want you to learn how to trade. Most people, they tend to stay in the room for about a month and a half. Then then they'll come back occasionally when maybe they want to see what I've got to say. Sometimes I come out with new ideas, new things with the order flow that that I tell them about, and they want to see it in action. So it's really a place where you just come out, hang out, watch me trade, listen to what I have to say. I mean, as I said, it's a room that the main purpose is to teach traders. It's those 2 hours. If I could find trades, then great. If there's no trading opportunity, then there's no trading opportunity. Sometimes I talk about one market and something happens in another market, but I'm busy explaining what's happening in market A and I miss the setup in market B. That happens. I've accepted that. But that's one of the things that I've come to accept with the trading room, that there will be times where I miss trades. It's unfortunate, but what? Part of teaching traders is I have to give up something on my end. I give up my time and occasionally some trades. That's not to say that all my trades that I give up are winners. I mean, there's sometimes I miss trades that I would have taken that would have been losers. So I have a tendency to think that it evens out over the long run. But before we get started, a brief disclaimer: this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only, and should not be considered a solicitation to buy or sell a futures contract or make any other type of investment decision. Futures trading contains substantial risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, now if the sound isn't that great, I apologize. This is a recording of the trading room. I've had to resize this on my screen to sort of fit it in there. But basically this is what I'm looking at. Generally I have my bonds on the left hand side, the S&Ps on the right hand side. I have underneath this, I've got a mini Dow here, and I've got a S&P 3 range. This is a 4 range in the bonds. This is a 10 range in the E-minis. Below it I got a 3 range. Why do I have a 10 range and a 3 range? Well, if the market is slow, trading a 10 range is going to be an exercise in futility. That's why I keep a 3 range if the market is slow. If the market is moving, making nice moves, then a 10 range is fine. I like the 10 range because it can give me potential for bigger moves. 5 points is about my target on a 10 range chart. On a 3 range chart, it's a lot less. It's going to be maybe 2 points. 3 points would be very generous on the 3 range chart, but generally it's about 1.5 to 2.5 on the 3 range chart. In the bonds, I'm generally trying to get 6 ticks, 5 ticks, 6 ticks if possible. So again, I apologize if the sound isn't that great of the recording. Again, it's the replay, and I'm trying to I'm recording it from the computer as opposed to you know, going through it over in real time. You know, someone posted the other day saying, oh, you know, unless I see this in real time, it doesn't matter. You know, even though I make a video and I show you the trades after the fact, maybe if, you know, you see it, you know, what I'm seeing, what I'm talking about in the trading room, then, you know, maybe it can help you. Maybe, hopefully. Again, you know, like I said, the trading room is there to, you know, basically to help you understand what's happening in the markets. So anyway, you can hear me talking. The sound in the trading room isn't that great. It's a different microphone. But anyway, I'll be quiet now, and you can watch this for the next, you know, the next 40 minutes.
And now look what you got. You know, this bar is 5,000, 4,500 positive delta. And what's that? No, 500.
Okay, this is me, not the trading room. Just listening to the sound. Sometimes, you know, I'm not talking because there's nothing to talk about. So, you know, there'll be periods of a couple minutes here and there where there's no sound. That's just because there's nothing happening. But, you know, a spoiler alert, you know, there's a trade I took in the bonds, and then a trade I took in the S&Ps, just in case you're wondering. You know, maybe I'm building up for some excitement or something, but it's just quiet right now because I don't see anything happening.
So it's interesting. You know, S&Ps are negative delta right now, right off this bar. Interesting. You know, this bar finishes, I do want to get short, but bonds has still got some buying activity going on in there. Yeah, it's interesting. This now you got this, you know, got ratio bounds low. You know, these last three bars, it look like, you know, possible shorts in here. You know, this one at one point looked possibly short. This one looked short, possibly. It's a doji. Now you got a ratio bounds low right up here. You got some decent stopping volume. You know, S&Ps really look like they want to sell off, but you know, you're sort of, I think this is the point of control, right in here. 43. You know, so when you're getting short at, you know, 3.5, 3.25, it's just right at the point of control. But like I said, you know, the bar is still going back and forth. bonds, honestly, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking getting short. It would look much better if there was a divergence there, if this bar had a negative delta, although, I know it's hard. It's going to be hard to get a negative delta in here because of this 916 volume right on the top. Because, it's 916. It's, people are buying that offer. That's why you have a strong positive delta still. There wasn't enough volume in here to change it on the way back down. Part of me, I'm looking at it. We'll see if we come up to this this point of control at 22. Could trade there or not. I'm always a bit hesitant to get short on bars with positive delta. But in this case, you sort of got to accept that you're going to have the positive delta because of that ratio bounds low, that stopping volume up here. So people are buying it, 916 lots. Okay, there, sold it at 21. I was thinking 22, which is, this is the point of controls at 22. Well, I'm willing to give it a shot here at at 21, a little bit, just one tick through this. But if we're going to trade, 24, then I'll be looking to get out. I don't like that you've just been making one tick highs here. S&Ps. Yeah, it's still in this bar here, still going back and forth. It's still negative delta, but it's how much volume you traded? 75,000. It's 20 minutes in this one bar here. Bonds, the only thing I don't like in this right now is you got two imbalances, buying imbalances, 750, 651. Honestly, that's not a good sign. The only thing I can get going for me is the S&Ps are dead, so at least the bonds aren't reacting to anything happening in the S&Ps. Looks like S&Ps are starting to come off here. I don't know. I'm trying to just go up to 2. I got out of this bond. I don't like the way it's setting up there. The S&Ps. I got a bit aggressive. I do like the way the S&Ps are. I like this shift here, this change in this bar. How it went from very strong positive delta to a very strong negative delta. You're seeing some follow through up in the next bar. Got a little bit late getting in. Got a couple of balances, which is nice. You see some strong selling coming in. I just got out of this bond. I didn't want to mess around with it. You got 2 imbalances here. Yeah, it could trade 21. I probably could have scratched it, but it's one of those things. It could just have popped up on me. I'm happy to take it at a loss of 1 tick. You saw here where it just sort of popped up here with very thin volume. It was, you saw this 1 bar earlier where it was going back and forth. It looked negative, and then all of a sudden, boom! It went 3 points against, sorry, 3 ticks. It just settled up, made a new high. I didn't want to fight it. I don't want to be staring at 2 imbalances here. So I could have scratched it. If I was patient, but at the same time, I don't want to lose a point. Is okay. I could live with that. Especially I'm thinking there could be a little bit more to this move in the S&Ps. On this 3 range chart, you've got a stacked imbalance there. I got in a little bit after that. So we're in the 4th bar after this imbalance. We're still trading a little bit below. So I'm in at a quarter. So it's still around my entry price. But I do think there's it's weighted to more selling. It's a quiet day. That was the only thing that sort of concerned me, as I know that we're coming down into this area where you got the volume. The other point of control for the day was down in here. Okay, so you see the buying, that's bonds now. We're trading 24. So, yeah, I could have scratched that trade at 21, but seeing, looking at that, that imbalance there, the imbalance that was here, I didn't want to mess around, and hope and pray that it comes back and gives me the chance. So I covered it, with losing as a losing trade for minus a tick, because this is what I was expecting, that quick move back up here, and I'd rather cover it at 22 than 24. Okay, so bonds, we did make a new high here, 26. I would have liked to see this have a negative delta, but that's the chance you take. And I took a chance. I gave up on it after a tick. So S&Ps, I'm still in this trade here, short at 2.25. Got down to like 1.25. Still hanging around 2. It's still got negative delta. There's still some selling pressure in it. Border control is up near the high of the bar. You got some decent numbers up here: 6,000, 5,000. This is respectable selling and balance 5,000. Even here on the offer, 4,000, 7,000. But still, it hasn't really made a big move. Yeah, I'd like to see it come down into this low at a minimum. But on this 3-range chart, how does it look? This is bearish. So you got the stack selling imbalance. You trade it back into it. 5th bar, I didn't get short off of this. I got short off the 10-range chart. But if I was short off of this, so by the time you're in this bar, I'd just probably be looking to cover it. However, I'm short on the 10 range, so I got a bit of a longer time frame on this trade. This is kind of bearish right here, this buying imbalance on that second slot. So, the market starts coming off, people try to take it back up, but you got that buying imbalance there. Hits, hits some volume. And, you're getting, more selling imbalances, 1900, 1100, right here you got 2800. But, like I said, it's still around this 42 level. I'd like to see it, finally make a breakdown into the, below 41. I don't like looking at this big imbalance there, but it's this area where you've got quite a bit of volume traded. It's almost your point of control. It is your point of control for the day right there. But I'd like to see this hold as resistance. Your point of control has moved down. Earlier your point of control was 42.75. Now you're down here at 42. So you're migrating lower your point of controls. Okay, so you got this bar up here, right? It's in the bonds. It's very similar to how this bar earlier looked. If you remember this bar, you had very positive delta 1400, and then the delta was it was down to like a positive 100 before it turned around and settled up, or it started rallying. Now what you have in this bar is you got these star. You have a very strong positive delta. You got a red candle. You got the negative delta. You got a divergence. This is the type I would be looking for it to sell off. First we gotta get down to 26. This bar turned around, and it ended up going higher. If this bar is going to turn around and start going lower, this is kind of the signal that I like. Just as I like this one here, we haven't really moved yet. This this delta here, is very strong positive. It was 4,000, and then went down to minus 2,900. And you're sort of seeing the same thing forming in here in this bar on this high. Hasn't finished yet. What I don't want to see is for it to turn around and start trading back up at 29 again. Which is doing right now. Okay, so finally, S&P's broke out of this bar, got down to 41, which is where I'd like to see us get to. Our low is here at 40. That's why, these bars, question always comes up, do you wait for the bar to finish? Yes, I do. That's exactly why. Because, what look, bearish can turn around on you in the bar as it's trading. So, the low's at 40. Got down to 40 and a half, 40 and 3/4. There is some support coming in here at 40 and a half. I'd love to see a quick move into this low. But I know the first time we came down into this low, you saw some decent volume, 1,500, 1,500, 1,900. So, I'm expecting to see, 1,000 at each of these levels. Minimum, 1,000 on the bids here. Okay, so we hit the low. I'd love to see a nice imbalance coming in there. And bonds keep making highs. They're back up trading 30. Okay, so we're back down towards the low there at 40. See if we get through this low. Okay, that's what I want to see. I want to see some imbalances, but like I said, there's some support there. There's at least 1,000 at each level. Okay, so you see here 1,000, 1,000. Not so much now down here. Seven. So I'm already past 37 and a quarter. 37 and a quarter would give me 5 points on this trade, which is usually, around my target, actually on the 10 range chart. Sitting there seeing if I can finesse it, or there is a bit of imbalances in here. 11, this is a stacked imbalance right here. These two and this one. But if it's not gonna, sort of, we're hitting an area where there's some volume. I'll just stick to my target of a quarter, 37 and a quarter. Okay, but we're running into some support down here. You can see 4,000, 2,000. Can it go lower? Yeah, it can, but I don't like that we've run into volume. When we're making a move, I'd like it to be less, less numbers. I don't want to be running into 5,000, 2,000. I mean, we could easily get through this and keep going lower, but still, 5 points, I'm happy with that. But really, the key of this trade was this bar right here. We had this low, and we start moving up. Okay, you got some nice positive delta, 3,000 right on the low. Next bar, okay, 400. It ended up at 400. There's some decent volume that traded. This bar's got 69,000 lots traded. And then you get to this bar, 4,500, max delta, 4,500. And, what happened is it changed. It got down to minus 2,900. You saw it changing in that bar. And that to me, that was the big shift in going from a demand-driven market to a supply-driven market. Yeah, I got short in here at 42 and a quarter, a little bit aggressive. I could have been a little bit more patient, maybe got in at 43, but I just wanted in. And it took a while for it to really to develop. I mean, to trade back up against me up to 3 and a quarter, so about a point against me. you know, it put in this new point of control down here at 42, where you got the volume, you know, the point of control in the bar. I did feel good about it, like it really wasn't going against me, you know, just hanging around my entry. Then you see the negative delta really built up, and then it was just sort of off to the races. I knew that if we get to this low, if we could get through it, you know, you did see it hit there, bounce back up, hit, bounce back up. If we get through it, I was going to look for some additional selling coming in, you know, in the form of these selling imbalances. You have this 1148, although I did feel there would be some bids down here, you know, at least 1,000 at these levels. There was 2,000 here, 1,300, 1,800, 1,100, 1,000. If we get through that levels, you know, I'd like to see some imbalances, so you know, that tells me it's getting through there pretty quick. And it did. It hit this next area. You know, you got this, you know, these three imbalances. You know, it's a split stack selling imbalance. But then, you know, it came down to my target. You know, it actually got down to 6 3/4. Yeah, but there's a lot of volume down here supporting the market. You can see, you know, you got positive delta, 4,000 right now. You know, this candle is big green up. You know, there are buyers coming in here. You know, 7,000, 4,000, you know, 3,000. When I covered, when I decided, you know, honestly, I thought maybe I'd get, you know, 36 1/4. But you know, as soon as I see, you know, 3,000 or 4,000 at these levels, I said, screw it. You know, I'm happy to get out at my target, even though, you know, people were still selling it into here. But there's buyers here. You know, you can see offers. People are offering it down here at a half, at a quarter. You know, 11,000. You know, all these buyers that were in here, they're also buying these offers here. So you know, there's sellers. There's, you know, people got a lot of supply, but you know, people are accumulating it. You know, I'd hoped I could have got, you know, a short in here in the bonds, but it was just, you know, it was there, but then it would disappear on you. You know, this bar is interesting. It's a big green bar. Got a lot of volume. You have big negative delta, you know, right at the high as well. You know, it sort of corresponds to this positive delta right on the low of the S&Ps. So, you know, I mean, I basically, essentially, you know, getting ready to end the room for today. But you know, this trade here, I tried to get short. I was really looking for, you know, a possible short off this high in the bonds, but it just wasn't developing. You know, I had this imbalance, had an imbalance here at 21, which is where I was short at. You know, I don't want to get short and be staring at a buying imbalance when, you know, as soon as I get short. That's not the most encouraging sign of when you're short. And you know, so I said I better cover it, because you know, it wasn't making the move that I was expecting. I gave up a tick. You know, I could have been patient, but honestly, at the same time, I saw what was happening in the S&Ps. I didn't necessarily want to be spending all my energy, you know, on the S&P, in the bonds, and on a trade that, you know, should I get in, get out, scratch it, whatever. When I saw something very juicy, you know, setting up in the S&Ps, that I wanted to get in. You know, I mean, if, you know, sometimes, you know, you get caught up in a position, and you know, it affects your position, your next position. So you know, cut it, put it away, be done with it, and move on to the next, you know, the next trade, which is what I did literally. I got out of this trade. I took a loss of one tick, and as soon as I did that, I got into the next trade, because I knew this, you know, this could potentially give me something more than, you know, what I was seeing in the bonds at this time. So if it's not shaping up the way you expect it right away, you know, look for the next trade. So right now, you know, we're at this high in the S&Ps. Ratio bounds low, divergence, big selling imbalance. Sorry, in the bonds, selling imbalance, selling imbalance. We'll see. You know, the price rejector kicking off right there. You know, you get your high, your previous bar was your high with a big strong negative delta. Now you're at your high with a even bigger negative delta. It's interesting in this S&P's very strong positive delta, 6,700. 6,000 for the headline number. But you can see there's people offering it here, but people are buying it. Okay, so we're still in this bar here in the S&Ps. Still putting in a lot of volume. At this point, I don't know if this move's going to continue lower or if it's going to bounce from here. We'll see. But I do know that this bar is going to turn down, and close down, make a new low. I would expect to see a bigger move lower, but we'll see. We'll see. Bonds, you got a divergence still. You've got a strong negative delta. Still in the bar though, but you saw a lot of these bars, negative delta turned around one positive, closed up. Okay, well anyway, guys, we're still in this bar. Again, I want to see how this bar is going to end up before I make any decision which way it's going to go. This one, the bonds, it looks bearish, honestly. It's still early, though. I mean, the bar is still forming, and we saw a lot of these bars setting up to be bearish bars, and then they turn around. Next thing you know, we're making new highs in the bonds. So I'll wait for this market. I'll wait for this bond bar to close one way or the other. But at least you got to see a couple trades. I said the bonds I lost one tick, but you saw in the S&Ps, you saw a nice trade, and so I hope you're able to pick this up. What I just, the whole thought process of going on in here with what was changing in this bar as it was happening. A very strong delta, and it ended up very negative delta internally. Then the next bar opened up down, strong selling coming in. Got short and wrote it down for a quick, well, not quick, 20 minutes, 30 minutes actually, you know, for 5 points. So, you know, honestly, I thought it was a very quiet day coming in. You know, at 8 o'clock, you know, this is where we were trading. 8 o'clock, we were trading 21.46-ish, around there. And, you know, our high had been 49.75, a low had been 44. But I figured, you know, after the cash open, you know, there could be some movement. And, you know, there was a nice move down here from this area down into there. So anyway, guys, you know, we'll end the room for today, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow. Nelson, I saw your email. I just haven't had a chance to reply. I'll get that sorted out for you. Just give me a little bit of time to coordinate with the programmer, but we'll get that sorted out. So, you know, everyone, thanks, and we'll pick things up again tomorrow.
Okay, so I hope you made it through there without falling asleep. You know, I could have ended it just after, you know, I got out of the trade, but, you know, I wanted to put it all the way there to the close of the room, so, you know, people, I'm sure there'll be somebody say, well, you edited out the trade, you know, afterwards. That was a loser. Well, there was no trade afterwards, and as you can see, there was no trade earlier before that. There was 2 trades in the room. I mean, there's always going to be there's always going to be the smart ass saying, oh, you know, you left out this other trade. Well, I didn't. There was 2 trades there. Okay. And, you know, as you can see, I mean, the whole point of the room is to get people comfortable using order flow, listen to what I have to say about, you know, the trade once I'm in it, you know, what I'm looking at, and, you know, and when I get out. So, you know, hopefully, you know, you can appreciate this video, and, you know, again, I'll try to put the rest of the week up when I get the chance. You know, I just have to run the software along with the screen capture software here, but the sound isn't that great, unfortunately. So anyway, you know, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know, I get new videos out whenever I can. You know, and to learn more about order flow trading, or to purchase the Orderflows Trader software and get access to the trading room, visit my website, orderflows.com, www.orderflows.com. So thank you.